All right, let's talk about it. If you're teaching an online course, you know there's that moment, right around the middle, where the whole vibe just shifts. Today, we are diving deep into that critical moment. We're calling it the Week 5 Pivot Point, and we're going to talk about how to master it.
Does this sound familiar? That new class energy? You know, that excitement from the first few weeks? It just kind of fizzles out. Your students are hitting their first real wall, and let's be totally honest, you probably are too. It's a feeling pretty much everyone in asynchronous teaching knows well.
But here is the most important thing to remember. This is not a crisis. This isn't a sign that things are going wrong. It is a predictable and, frankly, a crucial moment in the rhythm of any course. That's why we call it a pivot point. It's not about falling apart. It's about shifting your tactics.
So let's just reframe what's happening here. These challenges you're seeing, they aren't some unique problem with your course or your students. Nope. They are predictable patterns that show up in pretty much every single online class. And just understanding that, seeing the pattern, is the first, most important step to managing it.
So by this point, you usually see the class split into 3 groups. You've got your on-track students who are doing just fine. Then you have the reachable group. They're a bit inconsistent, maybe falling behind, but you can still pull them back. And then you have the disappearing group, the ones who are starting to go quiet. Seeing this happen is not a sign that you failed. It's just a sign that the course is entering its next phase.
You've probably also noticed this. I like to call it minimum viable participation. You know, discussion posts get way shorter. There are fewer replies to peers. And you start getting this sudden flood of, "Oh, I didn't know that was due" messages. Now, the key here is to realize this almost never comes from a place of laziness. It's usually a mix of cognitive overload and the fact that their time management skills are being seriously tested for the first time.
And hey, this isn't just about the students. For you, the instructor, Week 5 is when that grading load starts to feel real. Giving feedback is taking way longer than you thought. And right when you're feeling that pressure build, students start asking, "What does a good one look like?" Or "Can you give me an example?" It's kind of the perfect storm of demands, right?
So, what do we do about all this? This is the pivot. This is where we shift gears from how we started the term to something much more targeted. It is time to move into strategic facilitation.
Just look at how your role changes. Those first few weeks, that's all about being a welcoming host, right? High touch, building relationships. But from Week 5 on, your impact comes from targeted intervention and guidance. You're shifting from being the party host to being the expedition guide. So what even is strategic facilitation? Well, here's how we define it. It's the skill of moving from that high-volume interaction, trying to reply to everyone, to be everywhere, to making high-impact, really targeted moves. Your job now is to guide the conversation, summarize the big ideas, and elevate the learning for everyone.
Okay, that's the theory. But what does this actually look like day to day? Let's get into the nitty-gritty, the stuff you can actually do in your course this week.
A fantastic place to start is with your own replies. When a student emails you or posts in a discussion because they're struggling, a strategic reply is so much more than just, "Good job." So, what's in it? What makes it strategic?
Think of it like a simple 4-part formula. First, you start with genuine encouragement. Validate their effort. Second, you add clarity. Maybe you restate a core idea in a new way. Third, a little bit of accountability, a gentle reminder about a deadline or a requirement. And fourth, and this one is crucial, you give them one small, concrete next step. It's the perfect mix of motivation and structure.
And you can use this same idea on a much bigger scale. Instead of answering the same question in 10 different emails, we've all been there, go find one really strong student post that just nails it. Then you reply publicly to that post and you point out exactly what makes it so good. Then you can use that as a jumping off point to summarize the key takeaway for the entire class. Boom. You've just taught everyone with one targeted, high-impact move.
Now, it's really easy to get lost in just the content of our courses, but these strategic interventions you're making, they're doing something way, way bigger. You're actually building skills that go far beyond the subject matter.
Whether you put it in your syllabus or not, you're always teaching a hidden curriculum. These are the life skills, the professional skills that students are learning simply by navigating your course. And Week 5 is when that hidden curriculum becomes incredibly visible and important.
And this, right here, is where things get really powerful. Just look at this list: time and task management, professional communication, self-advocacy, learning how to ask for help. These are the real-world skills your students are wrestling with right now. Your strategic guidance isn't just about an assignment. It's about coaching them in things that will serve them for their entire lives.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, from spotting those week 5 patterns to making these strategic moves. So as we start to wrap this up, let's focus on the single most important mindset shift you can make.
Here it is. Asynchronous teaching requires planned redundancy. I'm serious. If you feel like you're repeating yourself, like you're saying the same instructions and deadlines over and over in announcements, emails, and feedback, good, you're doing your job. In an online space where it's so easy to miss things, feeling like a broken record probably just means you're being a really clear and effective teacher.
So I'll leave you with this one question. You don't have to change everything all at once. Just think about this. What is the one strategic intervention you can make in your course this week? Maybe you'll elevate a great student post, or maybe you'll just craft one reply using that 4-part formula. That big pivot always starts with one small step.